Wow, my first unboxing video. So I'm going to just take a look at a few things to pay attention to. I think for the most part the instructions are pretty clear on how to put it together. But we're going to look at a few things that might be a little bit different than the instructions, and just be aware. Alright, here we go. Okay, so I've unboxed a lot of things that you can do pretty easily. This is the power supply. It's pretty straightforward how it goes together. Here's the monitor itself, which I strongly suggest after you take it out of the box, lay it face down and put something nice and soft under it so you don't even think about damaging it. Now a little close up on the panel on the back, starting over on the right side. That is the USB connection that will go to a USB port on your computer from the monitor. The next thing over, the black square, is the power supply. That's pretty obvious. You're not going to use the sound thing. We are going to use either the VGA, which is this blue thing, and you'll have a second one on the back of your computer. You should have a second one on the back of your computer to connect it to, or possibly an HDMI connection, and you'd connect it here and your computer. And there's really all of these. There's no way to put the cable in backwards. There's only one way it'll work. Both the cables are included, the HDMI and the blue VGA cable. You just use one of them, one or the other. And like I said, lay the monitor down. I just used some of the packing material here. I laid it on the counter, put the monitor down on it. Here are the buttons on the back, or will be on the back bottom when we turn it up. The only thing really is the on-off button. You can play with these other things, but it came up beautifully set up, and just on-off was all I really needed to care about. You will need a couple tools. You'll need a small Phillips, a crosshead screwdriver here, and you'll need a small straight edge screwdriver with fairly small. You don't have to have these, but boy, it'll make life simpler. Now let's take a look at some of the boxes of things that we're going to use to put this together. In the little sort of orangey bag, you'll see 4 washers and 4 3mm black screws, which are going to mount the base to the monitor itself. And in the bigger bag, you'll see 4 wing nut screws, which will mount the base together. There's 2 parts to the base, and this is how you put it together. It's pretty straightforward. Real quick, this is the HDMI cable, and here is the VGA, and it's got blue all over it. So if it's blue, it's VGA. If it's not blue, it's HDMI. Remember, only one of these cables will be used. And here are the 2 parts of the base. This is the base, and this is the part that holds the monitor, and it's a nice tilt base and so on. And we'll show you real quick how this goes together, and then we'll need it in a little bit. Okay, these are the pieces you take out, and the 4 screws or nuts that you're going to need in just a second. Make sure this panel is pushed all the way flush like that, because it's got to slide up through. And make sure this and the wider part are in front. Turn it over. So now you've got it with these bolts sticking out, and guess what? That's where you use the wing nuts. I can't do it, but that's okay. That's where you use the wing nuts. Okay, and there we are now ready to mount this to the monitor. Okay, now I have the base ready to go. I'm going to actually turn this up a little bit, make it easier. You'll see we'll switch it one way and then the other as we mount it. The 4 screws are here, 4 washers are here, and I used a paper clip, and I'm going to unbend it just a little bit because these need to fit between here and here. So we're going to place them, but if they get knocked a little bit out of place, you need unless you have extremely skinny fingers, which I don't, you'll need something to push in and just push it around a little bit. It's real easy without that in the way. With that in the way, a paper clip or something really thin, you can get under and finagle with the washers. Here you can see where I've put the washers and positioned them directly over the holes, so when I set the base upside down on top of this, and we have the paper clip if I knock anything out of place. And over here on the base, you should notice that I've done it now pretty much perpendicular to the base so that I can access the screws underneath. You're going to line up using these inner rectangle of holes. Make sure the thinner part, I've got this is the bottom, this is the top. Make sure this part goes up this way. So we got the wider thing underneath this. And we'll line it up. That looks pretty good. We'll see. Take the screwdriver. This is slightly magnetic, which is great. My fingers are not very small. And we go in. With a little luck, you should feel it grab. Now, you're not reefing these down, you snug them up. Go to the next one. And again, if this has been knocked out of place, use this to slip it back so you can see the screw hole down there. Turn it around. Again, being careful to keep the spacer. Okay. I had to use my little tool here. I had to line this one up. That one I can still see the hole, I just need to push it. This one was a little bit out, so I had to slide it around a little. Don't tighten those up, but you can move this back just a little so you can get it close. And then use the little pointy end there. And I think we got them pretty well lined up now. Okay. Now, make sure it's in together, and then again just snug it down a little bit. And again, snugging it up just a touch. And we're ready to go. Next thing, we're going to hook up the USB to that part. We're going to plug the power in there, and then either the VGA cable or the HDMI cable also goes to your computer. You need the USB connected to get the touch screen part, and of course you need this for the display part. So one or the other of these cables, plus you need the USB to get the touchscreen function. Okay, so now I'm going to connect the VGA because that's probably the most likely connection. And you'll see that there are some screw-in pieces here. That's what we need the flat screwdriver for, and it's also shaped so it only goes on in one direction. push it in till it's snug. Take the screwdriver, and again, tighten these up just snug, just snug. It's all about just keeping it from working loose and falling out. It's about the only thing that's an issue. These things plug in very easily. This one, it's good to do this first. Okay, we're now ready. Flip it back up carefully. And now you have it. You should be able to adjust it. I move it a little bit just to check that nothing feels loose. Also, one other thing on the screen itself is if you decide to clean the screen, spray something, a little Windex, whatever, spray it on the cloth and then wipe the screen. Don't spray the screen. Hopefully you can see. You have the USB cable here, you have the power cable here. One more thing to pay attention to for good cable management, once you plug in, or as you run the cables up, run them through this slot down here and they'll come out underneath, so you don't have these cables just sort of lying on the counter. Put them together, and of course you can use some zip ties or something to bundle them. I'm going to start, click down here on the button, pops up, open up the register, cash register. Okay, so we are now ready to go. Now I'm going to type numbers in. You're, of course, going to scan them. You'll be scanning or typing in the new number system. I'm using the old number system, 1402. And let's say that's it. So, to move to the next screen, tap in there where it said code, pop up. You can just hit whatever. We're going to say cash. We're going to say you gave me a $20 bill, and I complete the sale, and I'm ready to go. Okay, let's do that again. I'll show you one little bit of bitty thing you need to know. This part's the same. I'm going to do a couple things. Let's say he gives me $20 cash, but then, oh, he's going to put the rest on a credit card. So what I need to do now, because don't have enough yet, do media type, add, click credit, and of course, credit card is going to be that exact amount. So click over here. But unlike before where you could just click and boom, put it in, now you have to use the keyboard to type it, or excuse me, use the keyboard to hit the enter key so it will fill in the exact amount. So that one thing, if it's multiple types of media, the second one or third one you'll have to just hit enter on the keyboard rather than touch the screen. But then it's the same from then on. And when you're done, exit, manager, exit. Yep, and there we are back. All right, hope this is mildly helpful, and give me a call if you need any extra help. And thank you for shopping with SoftWrite Pro.